Very few things could overshadow a very cool Catch custom from Taylor. I got Catch 25 here, and it's awesome, but I got something that I think is maybe even cooler that more and more people will be clamoring over. I got the first Taylor amp, the Circa 74. This is a custom pair, one of 15. I'm going to tell you all about both of them, so stick around. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when the cool stuff is coming, and especially when it is rare as these two will be. But yeah, like the videos, comment on them, let us know what you're thinking, because we're very excited about this one. And yeah, we've shown you quite a few Catch customs this year so far. I think at the store we got 11 or 12 different guitars, and we've gone through most of them. A lot of them have found homes already, but these just came in last week, and we're very, very excited to show them. I am. It's just me today. So we as a store, we're very excited, but also I'm excited that I get to be the one to present them. So when we're at the Catch event, we got kind of a preview beforehand that, you know, a lot of you guys wrote in and wanted to see the galleries before we went. And there was one that was mysteriously absent from the gallery. And when we got this spreadsheet, it said USA only with very little info. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, they did something with Brazilian. Because Brazilian, you typically see USA only because of all the CITES regulations and all that. But that was not the case. When I got to the show, it was Catch 25 that was on the sheet, kind of invisible, and in the gallery you couldn't view it. You can now, obviously, because this one's out. But when we got to the show, we learned that it was their first pair custom. So we got Catch 25, the guitar, that was also paired with the currently covered Circa 74 Taylor amplifier, which is very, very cool. There was a couple of them around the show that we could look at. And I might as well, I'll get into the guitar in a minute, but let's get into the amp. It's long overdue that Taylor has gotten into the amp game with something very cool, and unfortunately, this one that I got right here, it is one of 15 that were made. Who's to say what they're going to look like in the future? All I know is this one is here, we got it, we entered in, we're one of the lucky 15 dealers that got one. So yeah, let's check it out. What a good looking amplifier. As our guy Casey down in the warehouse in the service department, kind of the guy here besides Chris that I go up to with everything. I got a few people here, you know, Josh, who's behind the camera, Chris, Casey, Ted. You've seen some of them. You have not seen some of them. Those are the guys that I'm like, what do you think about this? Give me the scoop. So I showed this to Casey first, and he said they nailed the aesthetic, which is totally true. Yeah, it's just an incredible little amp. This one, since it's custom, it is completely ebonyed out. So the whole cabinet is made of ebony. I don't know how much you can see here. It does come with the little furniture stand that it's on right now, but it does come off. So I was kind of blown away at the show with how good this thing looked. You know, there's so many things that they could have done. I think they spent their time on this to really make something that captured a certain vintage aesthetic, captures the California vibe of Taylor as a whole, but also just has kind of a timeless look. Circa 74 is the name of the amp. Not Taylor, not the Taylor acoustic amp. This is the Circa 74. You know, obviously hearkening back to Taylor's history. Bob Taylor, I think, you know, yeah, a lot of people know the story of him buying out the company, going from American Dream to Taylor Guitars and everything. So 74 is a big year for them. Also, Casey's comment was he was born in 74, so he loved it already. But I just think the different name besides Taylor, you know, some people are wondering why they didn't call it Taylor amp. I think it's because it's not just for Taylor guitars. It's not just for Taylor players. I believe that this amp could appeal to anybody, any acoustic guitar player. I'll kind of go through some of the specs here. So these are amps for an acoustic guitar, but they also have a vocal channel. So you've got two inputs up top. I don't know how well you can see that. We'll have some photos as well. On input A, you got the XLR or the 1/4 inch input if you want it, and then input B is just a 1/4 inch. But each one has 3-band EQ, bass, middle, and treble, your channel volume, and then a really nice reverb. And then you've also got master volume up here on the right. So input A, input B, master volume. You got an auxiliary in, you got Bluetooth, and you got a headphone jack on the back. Got a direct out, a line out, easy access to the fuse, and then just, you're gonna want to turn it on, so you got a switch. But I just think the look of the amps is enough to win anybody over. We're in an acoustic amp world that's dominated by a few different companies, and so I really very much hope that Taylor expands this line, different sizes, and we shall see what's coming. But for now, I'm just very, very excited to have this thing. So that's the amp, Circa 74. You're gonna hear it in just a moment. Get it back on the stand. There we go. It also comes with, you saw the cover when we opened up the video. This owner's manual and all this stuff is going to remain sealed for whoever ends up owning this. You can have the pleasure of opening that. But a little sneak peek. Thanks for giving this custom Circa 74 amp a new home. Circa 74 is a new brand of amplifiers made by the talented craftspeople who also make Taylor guitars. It's not just a Taylor amp, it's a Circa 74 amp. And from that point on, it's cut off. I'm not going to read you the rest. That's a surprise for whoever purchases this amp. Here's the thing. The amp was bought by us as a pair with the guitar, and that's how we intend to sell it. So if you like the amp, you better like Catch 25, and there's not much to dislike here. It's a very striking, good-looking Grand Concert Custom. This one is also one of 15, so 15 guitars, 15 amps. I think the intention here is to have a very limited guitar and a very limited amp that can be a pair for somebody that really loves Taylor craftsmanship, loves high-quality acoustic guitars and amplifiers. I'm going to give you kind of the specs on this one. This is a walnut top, and you can tell by the coloration, but it's also shaded edge burst. But this is walnut and premium grade East Indian rosewood. It's bound all over the place and grained ivoroid. It's got bone pins. The inlay might look familiar to some of you. This was one that we saw, I believe, on Catch 29. There's been a lot of Catch guitars, but one of the big things on that guitar, if I'm thinking of my numbers correctly, was the C Forest Vine inlay. And that one was in abalone and I think mother of pearl. This one matches the binding with the grained ivoroid and also the mother of pearl. But this is definitely one of the more understated Catch guitars that we've gotten. And if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you know that I kind of like that. I'm a fan of things that are a little more low key, but just have the sound to kind of prove everything that you need to hear on it. I love the fancy stuff too, and this definitely has flashes of the fancy, but it's also a really interesting wood pairing, walnut and rosewood. And the aesthetics besides that inlay, I think are very classy and very pretty. Just like I think this is very classy and very pretty, and the sound on both of them is great. So I'm gonna let you hear the guitar first with our normal setup. It's gonna be WA-47 condenser mic, the junior. So you can hear this acoustic, and then you can also hear it going through the Circa 74. Basically what I've got going on with the EQs and all that, just so you can kind of hear it for themselves, not trying to dial in exactly the right tone. I've pretty much got everything just going straight up. The knobs on here do have the little detent just like the ES2, so you can snap to the middle, and that's what I did on this. So we're snapped to the middle on all the EQs there, all the EQs here, and then volume. You will hear a little bit of reverb because if I'm plugging in with an acoustic, I definitely want some reverb. But check out the guitar acoustic and then plugged in to the first Taylor-made acoustic amp that I've seen. I'm sure there've been more. I'm sure that old Bob Taylor and Andy Powers have been cooking up stuff for years, but this is the first one in the store. Very, very cool. Take a listen. So there you have it. This, as a package, is Catch 25. And with the addition of the amplifier, I think that it might be one of the most compelling Catch additions that we've had this year. I'm really, really excited to see the overall kind of reception of these amplifiers. Like I said, they nailed the look, and the vibe of the amp, I think, is perfect. The sound quality that came out of it, I think, is fantastic. I think in the future, say they grow this line, I really hope that they do. I would love to, kind of down the road, I'm sure many of you would like to hear this, get the amp and plug in a bunch of different pickup styles, because you can hear it with the ES2 and you can hear it with the Taylor guitar, but what's it sound like with an LR Baggs? What's it sound like with the K&K or a Fishman? You know, there's plenty of different pickups and people have their favorites. So the key is, if they're gonna grow this line, what does it sound like with all different kinds of guitars? Which I will be one of the first to hopefully bring that to you when, I'm saying when, if and when we see some more stuff from these amps. However, I know for sure that there are going to be only 15 of the ebony clad limited custom versions. So if you love the amp, if you love the guitar, I would recommend acting fast. We are going to sell this very quickly, I'm sure, and there are 14 other ones out there in the wild that who knows if they've been sold yet or not. I don't know if anybody's ever seen me post on the Taylor group on Facebook, but we have seen some people some rumblings from the group about this amp. So I'm really excited to be the first to plug it in and kind of show it off in the store. And yeah, it's something truly limited. There are all different kinds of Catch guitars, and we've had a bunch, but I really like the sound of the walnut rosewood. I think walnut's kind of underutilized. We've had some good Catch guitars with walnut in the past, but it's a great pair on the top with the rosewood. I felt a very warm sound coming out of this guitar with the comfort of the grand concert and everything. I think it looks sharp. I think it sounds great. Like I said, it's hard to overshadow Catch custom guitar, but I'm kind of infatuated with the amp right now. So please let us know what you think. If you have any questions about it, as soon as we post the video, please give us a call, chat with us online, and hit us with your questions if you're interested. We'd really, really like to get this to you, and I promise that I will repackage it exactly how it came. I haven't opened up the manual yet, so you get the pleasure of doing that. But thank you guys very much for watching. Taylor, nice work on the amplifier. Please build more and all different kinds, because I want one myself. So we will see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. AlamoMusic.com is where you can find both of these, or in the store. Please come in the store if you're nearby. But either way, we'd love to help you out. Take it easy.